So you know what? Doing this channel, I've realized one huge thing. That is, there are so many people out there stingy with their era, whatever time they grew up, their music of their time. You know, you think about these movies that are filmed, TV shows that are filmed, music that is recorded. You know, 20, 30, 40, 100 years from now, people are going to hear that for the first time and have their own interpretation. Is it right for somebody to come along and say, you cannot talk about it because you weren't there when it originally came out? What is going on, everybody? Welcome back, music lovers, especially my rock music lovers. That's right. Welcome back for another one. Listen, I did a YouTube short a while back, and it was, centered around Kurt Cobain. And I've done a lot of different content on the grunge era, the music coming out of Seattle, the bands, Nirvana, Kurt by himself. I've done a lot of different things because I respect that era a ton. I mean, it was iconic for music history. But the comment said that, basically, you're in your mid-30s, which I am. You weren't around. I was in high school when this music came out, when Nirvana's Nevermind came out and took over the world. He got to experience it different than me. Absolutely he did. And I kind of envy that. I think back to so many great times. Would have loved to have been there when it first came out and people got to see it for the first time. Elvis in his prime, going to see him. That would have been amazing. The Beatles, going to see them. Seeing Aerosmith after they released their debut album and they started to explode onto the scene. Seeing The Clash, the Ramones, going to CBGB, seeing some of these amazing bands. So many things that I would, if I had a time machine, I would go back and I would see so many things as far as rock music history. But, to tell somebody they shouldn't be talking about something because you have a different viewpoint of it. You were there when it came out. You were part of, I don't know, I guess I'd say this, a population of people that got to experience something amazing. And that's amazing. Amazing. I think I said amazing too many times. Anyway, I won't say amazing no more. But you get what I'm saying. I understand where he's coming from. But at the same time, dude, I was a young kid when Nirvana came out. I remember hearing them. My insight into what they were actually all about and being able to respect them the way I do now, it wasn't there originally because I was young. But there was a point when I got to dive into their catalog, dive into their history, who these individuals were in the band, and I grew a different respect for them. So absolutely, I believe I can talk about whatever I want, just as much as any of you out there can talk about whatever you want. And to tell somebody they can't because they weren't there, get over it, dude. You're obviously a fan. Let other people be fans as well. Like I said before, that is the beauty of being able to archive all this art that we put out there, whether it is on the big screen, on our television, or what's coming out of our, speakers. It's just, I give you a good example. Like my music journey, and I'm sure a lot of you are the same out there, and I'd imagine this is really how you can grow respect and become a true fan of certain genre of music or all genres. It doesn't matter. Like, take this for example. Right now, I'm in sort of like this mode. I've been completely engulfed into the band Chicago. Now, Chicago, and mainly, well, really only the Peter Cetera era. Peter Cetera was their original bassist, lead singer. I mean, when Chicago came out and released their debut album, 1969, Chicago Transit Authority, that was a awesome album that pretty much sounded like a lot of what was in at the time, and whatever is in your time, whatever time that is, if you're a band, you're going to come out and you're going to try to fit in with that, but be unique at the same time. Chicago absolutely did that. Freaking phenomenal band. Peter Cetera was there all the way up until 1985 when he left the band to go pursue his solo career, which was a success, by the way. I've read a little bit about it, basically getting with the guys in the band and, throwing a proposal out there that when they're on hiatus after tours, he'd go work on his solo stuff, but apparently the guys declined that. They said no. If they did, that's kind of messed up. But again, I don't know the whole story. Probably very few people out there do. But he said, F it, I'm going to go do my solo stuff anyway. And that's what happened. So after 1985, everything Chicago did was without Peter Cetera. Then, you had other lineup changes and deaths. But phenomenal band. Amazing. I heard their hit song from the 80s, You're the Inspiration, which I've heard it a million times. But when I heard it a couple days ago, it just, I don't know, it hit me different. I said, you know what? This band's pretty amazing. And I've heard some of their older stuff too, 25 or 6 to 4, some of their biggest hits from the 70s, the 80s, and from their first album at the end of the 60s. I respect the hell out of that band. I was not there in the 60s. So if somebody came around that was there, in their teens or 20s and told me I couldn't talk about them because I wasn't there, I'd be shocked. I'd be like, are you freaking serious? dude, I'm listening to the same thing as you. I'm having a different interpretation of it. And you'd think you would want that. I have my kids listen to stuff that they've never heard before that I loved as a teenager. I want them to be excited about it, and I want them to hear it like I hear it. I'm never going to tell them you can't appreciate it or talk about it because you weren't there. That's just absolutely insane. Matter of fact, another thing that got me really excited about 2 weeks ago, Beetlejuice just came out, and I went, well, it was about a month and a half before it came out. I went and told my kids about the original Beetlejuice because they've seen all these commercials. They didn't know nothing about it. They just saw this new movie that was coming out and thought it was cool looking. I said, you got to go see the first movie. So they've never seen it before. I put on the first movie. I've always loved that movie, and they loved it. And it was the same thing with me. I want to show them the Goonies one day. The Goonies was huge, but that's the thing is those movies, they weren't alive when they came out. Matter of fact, for the Goonies, I wasn't born yet, but I love that movie so much. And that's what you want as a director or the actors in that movie. You would want people that are 40, 50 years after that movie's release to still be excited and love it. That's the point, right? You want it to be forever loved, whatever your art is or whatever you do. Now, those are just a few examples. I've shown my kids a lot of different things. Another thing is, and I hear a lot of people bash them, and I get it. I'm guilty of it as well. But you'll see these young kids running around with, a Nirvana shirt or an Aerosmith shirt or a Rolling Stone shirt. And, they probably just got it at their local department store. And it was just, a lot like Walmart and Target. They have certain shirts in certain areas that you can buy. And kids buy them and wear them. But really, they may not even know who the band is. They may not really understand the band. They might know who they are, but they don't really listen to them or like them at all. It doesn't matter. It's a damn shirt, And I have, like I said, been guilty of saying, why the hell are you wearing this shirt? You don't even know who they are. That makes me go into that same bracket of people that I'm talking about today. We got to stop being so stingy with our music. Appreciate it if you were there for anything, any iconic moments in rock music history. Definitely appreciate it and treasure it. But at the same time, let other people live their life and talk about and do whatever they want. I mean, for me, if there's certain things like, I'll give a good example, like Green Day. I've kind of watched their whole evolution from the early 90s when they started to blow up till now. I mean, they made their mark, and they'll forever go down as a great band, and not everybody likes them. But I love and respect the hell out of Green Day, that they're definitely engulfed in that punk rock community, but they jumped out into this mainstream that was absolutely in love with them, and people still do love them, and they should because they're a great band. So I can appreciate some of the, like Dookie coming out. I can appreciate that because I was there when it came out. I remember hearing the songs for the first time, and it was special. But if I let my kids listen to it now and they like it and fall in love with it, that's even more awesome. I'm never going to look at it as a negative. And all those people out there that do, you're so damn crazy. Just get over it. Anyway, guys and gals, I'm really sorry about this little rant, but when I read that comment, it's been eating away at me, since I read it. So I had to come out and say that because I feel like as fans, again, like I said before, we got to appreciate things, just anything in life. Appreciate the moments that are special. Appreciate the music moments that are special when, you hear it for the first time. In any era, a band like when Nirvana came out, it was such a special moment for rock music, and many other bands as well. Those moments should be appreciated, respected, and held close to your heart if you were there. But you should also be able to appreciate and be happy for those that can hear it somewhere way down the line that weren't there when you were, but they still have that authentic appreciation like you did when they heard it for the first time. And that's just the beauty of music. And I couldn't be more happier to have such a great history in rock music that we have. And it's still going. We know that rock's kind of had a bumpy road the last decade or so. I firmly believe that it will get back on top at some point. But right now it's kind of, different music is kind of what's in right now. It's not rock like we used to love, but it will come back. I promise you that, and I have been adamant about that for a long time. And that's the world of music. There's ebbs and flows with different genres and styles, and that's the way it'll always be. But anyway, I appreciate you. Thank you for coming and watching. Go out there, take care of your friends and family. Do something amazing. Appreciate what you got in life. Appreciate those moments in life. and be able to share them with other people. And it might be people that are young. And if they are young, if you can see that glow in their eyes when they do get to hear something for the first time that you loved, that's just another joy in itself. It's like, you knew it was awesome, and now somebody else thinks it's awesome as well. That's a great feeling. But anyway, until next time, go out there, take care of yourself. I'm out.